Everyone, we are here with the We Are One Summit, cultivating inner peace to build a better planet. And I am your host, Caroline Rudderman, and we are here with Vicky Roncero. And storytelling has always been her passion. And Vicky believes that our energy is our greatest storytelling tool. Vicky is an Usui Reiki Master Teacher with a practice in Montclair, New Jersey, and she helps people with stress, anxiety, injury, illness, and maintain their wellness through Reiki. She teaches people how to navigate life changes, processing grief, building resilience, and really seeking to achieve or maintain balance. She also teaches Reiki certification classes and leads workshops and seminars in person and virtually. And Vicky teaches that every day we are creating the next chapters of our lives with energy. Elevating our frequency and raising our vibration reminds us that every day is a chance for a new beginning. New beginning. So,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thanks. So nice to be here.
So tell us a little bit about how storytelling, like how do you observe storytelling in your work in the healing journeys? Like tell us a little bit about that foundation of how we kind of understand our words in our world and the world around us.
Sure. Well, just as a little background, because I don't think you mentioned, I had been a television writer producer for over 2 decades
Mm.
before I got into Reiki, which to me, if someone would have said back then, oh, you're going to do Reiki and you're going to teach people about their energy and you're going to heal, I would have been like, really? Like, I don't really think that I came into this the same way that some others have. And in my experience, that's kind of something that makes me approachable to more like corporate types who are stressed out in their jobs, looking for a way of like relaxing. Because the world of television production is extremely stressful. You're always working with tight deadlines, huge competition, and all kinds of things that are really stressful. And I was in between jobs. I had just actually gotten laid off from what I thought was my dream job at a children's network. And it was very unsettling. It was one of those big reorganizations where it's nothing personal, but it's impossible not to take that personally. Suddenly your life is changed and you're uprooted in that way. And I found Reiki through going to a spa for a couple of days and trying a bunch of different things. And while I was hiking, biking, doing all these physical things, I wanted to get a massage. And quite honestly, there weren't any available. So the receptionist said, would you try Reiki? And since I was open, I gave it a shot. And this was now over 20 years ago. So at the time, it wasn't really something in my vocabulary. But the minute the practitioners started to work on me, I started to feel all of my own stories kind of coming to the surface, like memories and things that I remembered from childhood and moments and quotes that people had said to me, things that had maybe like hurt my feelings that I had forgotten about for a long time. It was very, very strange to me. It felt like there was all of this energy literally defrosting. And I was so moved in that one session that it sounds so like cliche, but it truly changed my life and made me feel like, okay, now this is something I want to learn more about because this was truly so much more powerful than any massage or any sort of like treatment I had had. And I went down the rabbit hole of starting to study Reiki 1, Reiki 2, all the while still doing the TV production on the side. And to me, as I was learning more and more about Reiki, I couldn't help but think, wow, this is our body's greatest way of communicating. When someone walks into a room before they even open their mouth, you can kind of sense by their energy, are they in a bad mood? Are they in a good mood? Is this person nice? Is this person not nice? And it kind of took me back to my childhood when I had these sensitivities and I'd kind of get in trouble for them. Like if I was with my mom and she introduced me to someone and said, oh, this woman, and I got a feeling about someone and then said to her later, I didn't like that lady. She gave me a very weird feeling. Back then in like the 70s, that was kind of like, oh, don't be rude, don't be rude, like don't say that. And so I just kind of was pushing all of those sensitivities down. Later in life, in college, if I had a friend who was dating someone and I said, oh, I don't like that guy. And she said, oh, you're just jealous because you're single, again, it was like pushing that down. So those stories, the things that we were feeling that we might have wanted to share that kind of got pushed down because it was wrong to say that, or it would come across the wrong way, it's still in our energy. And then understanding that, like, wait a minute, I wasn't being rude or feeling something that was wrong. I was actually feeling something that was really there. I was sensing someone's vibration. And to learn Reiki and have the vocabulary to then understand what I had been feeling since a young age, to me, just kind of like burst me wide open. And it made me feel like, yeah, this has been a lot of fun working for Lifetime Television or Sesame or all these different places. But I really want to work with people because the stories they have inside and the way they're navigating their lives, whether it's recovering from a breakup, grieving the loss of a loved one, moving through a job transition, whatever it might be. Maybe it's somebody who stopped working to raise their kids and now they're in their 50s and they're kind of thinking, who am I? I feel very lost. What's next for me? I love working with these people and kind of sensing in their energy where they have blocks in their chakras that kind of help tell their story and help them weave together what it is that I'm sensing with what they're feeling and how we can move them forward by tapping into some of the inner superpowers that they might even not know they have. So that's kind of the storytelling. I feel like every time I go into a Reiki session with someone, it's almost like the producer in me is back in an edit room going through footage and kind of piecing together the best pieces, the bumpy pieces, trying to kind of decipher in this person's energy what their story is. And to me, it's just really powerful.
Mm. And I think, like you said, it was only when you started getting really relaxed that these memories that that you weren't even consciously connected to started floating up and out. And you were like, oh, that's weird. It's kind of, that a lot of that stuff just gets filed away.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
we don't even always realize that we are operating with that stuff in our shoulder or in our, the way that we're limiting our voice or, yeah, that's such a beautiful way of like expressing the storytelling through.
Yeah. It really feels like that whole idea of kind of helping someone, maybe they're not able to find the language because it's something they push down, and you're like, "Well, wait a minute. What is this from childhood that really sparked you? What is this I'm feeling in your inner child, something creative that you love to do?" And someone might say, "Oh, yeah, well, when I was little, I loved to paint, but I haven't done that in years." And it's kind of like, "Well, why? Like if that really sparked you and if that's in your energy and you have this creativity, this person might have been an accountant for the last 30 years, but maybe they thought I shouldn't be doing the painting on the side. And maybe it's a passion that is just meant to be expressed and lived in order to spark their joy. So it's not always about like what you do in your role as a job, but it's like how you're balancing that energy and connecting with joy every day.
Mm. So in that space, when you're talking about allowing people to, realize that they can continue making new energetic choices every single day, how is it kind of a replacement story that's happening? Is it us getting back to like letting the stories go and getting back to our true nature? Like, what do you observe when you're starting to like move energy and you're kind of in that metaphorical like editing room when you're working with people, like how do those energetic choices continue being created newly every day?
I think it kind of depends on the individual. Like if you're someone that did kind of push that down, maybe with the example I just gave, maybe you did love to do art, but then your real life job didn't allow you the time. And then you had kids and suddenly you're juggling motherhood with your job and you're not finding the time for that creative expression. I feel like in that example, it's about making the time, carving out that time for yourself and realizing that joy matters in my life and I'm going to make space for this. In other scenarios, it's funny, I teach workshops sometimes to a group full of women, and I'll just say, okay, we're going to do some work with our sacral chakra. I want you to tell me, what do you do each day that brings you joy? And sometimes the room is silent, and there's something very sad about that. because people are living so like, I wake up, I get my kids to school, I do this, I do that. And the day is so jam-packed that they're like, well, I don't know. What did I do to give myself joy today? I went to a yoga class or I ate lunch, but it's kind of like interesting the people who are really just stuck thinking of like, wow, that's kind of crazy. I don't know what I've done today or yesterday that kind of sparked joy in me. And really, when you explain to people the way like our energy works and the way that the light flows through our chakras, if it's kind of stuck there and not being, the joy is not moving, then we're not allowing our energy to elevate to those higher frequencies. So it's not about taking hours to do joyful things every day. We're all very busy. It can just be tiny little moments like the 5-minute walk outside or the break you take to just sit on the couch and pet your dog for 5 minutes because you've been on your computer all day in meetings. Whatever it is, it's just making sure that you are taking those little breaks to keep that energy elevated.
What do you do for your daily self-care or self-practice routines? Like what's part of the daily, your little daily joy moments for you?
To me, I've kind of broken it into little micro bursts like that because, life is busy. And I feel such a connection to nature. I just feel like if I don't get outside and go for even a 10-minute walk, I just don't feel right. I don't feel grounded and I don't feel connected. I also feel like I've had a dog now for 6 years who's right over there. And if I don't make the time to really connect with her, like you realize how you get this source of unconditional love every morning when you wake up. The dog is just so happy and giving so much to you that, when you take those moments to just kind of really take time with that unconditional love and give to that, it just kind of comes right back to you. It makes you feel very connected to that sort of unlimited sense of unconditional love. And I love to do breathing exercises as well. I think that when we're able to connect with our inner selves and let our flow of energy within us feel really balanced and regulated, then it really helps control what's going on in the outside world. So taking those little moments, even for like a little breathing exercise, really makes a big difference with how you navigate the world outside of you. So that's important to me.
I love that. So one of the programs that you created called Listen Up, yeah, I know it's kind of started from a another in-person workshop that you did, and now it's an online course, self-paced. Can you tell us a little bit about, yeah, can you tell us a little bit about Listen Up and yeah, how it all started?
Sure. Yeah. I noticed that a lot of clients that were coming for Reiki had two very common complaints. One of those complaints was, oh, I just want to silence the noise in my head. I feel like I have this inner critic and she's kind of nasty and like I want to be able to quiet her for a bit. So silencing that inner noise is really, really important. And the other piece is like a lot of people are like, I want to feel heard. Like I feel like sometimes I'm talking to my husband and I'm like, did you even just hear me? Or, people complain about that all the time. So I thought, wow, this is interesting. There's a lot of people who don't feel heard, and there's a lot of people who can't quiet the noise in their head. And wouldn't it be great to teach specific skills to kind of quiet that internal chatter, to have you speak more like with the energy of your heart and hear more with the energy of your heart, so that the people that are speaking to you, you're receiving them with a higher energy than just listening with your ears. And it starts to kind of clear and release any blocks in your higher self. So it also does a third amazing thing, which is starts to open your intuition more. So you start to connect more with your voice of guidance. So in the same way that if I was trying to talk to you right now and the window was open and someone was jackhammering and I'd have to say, give me a minute, I have to quiet the noise, if I'm talking to you and in my head, I'm thinking of all the things going on in my life, my worries, my stress, I'm not really being present for you. I'm not really holding space with you. And that's not really fair to you as someone who's trying to deliver a message to me. So if Reiki is all about kind of clearing and releasing anything that's stuck, if we take the time to clear and release some of our internal noise, we are more open to the messages coming from other people. And I teach this with a technique that I call the H.E.A.R technique, H-E-A-R. And the first two letters of the acronym are just heart energy. So I help everyone understand what it means to connect with the energy of your heart. And you, being a Reiki person, understand it means connecting with your light. So rather than operating from the space of your mind all day, analytical thinking, it's dropping down into your body and really opening that heart energy and really turning on your light. And when your heart is open and you're listening with your heart and your mind is clear, you're able to take in that information in a more loving, heartfelt way. So that's the heart energy. And then the A stands for awareness, that checking in with yourself multiple times throughout the day and just having an awareness. Am I still in this heart energy, or has my day taken me right back to that mind? That's an important piece. And the last letter is R, which is response. So you're having this heart energy awareness, but now how am I responding to others? Am I feeling like I'm allowing you space in the conversation? Am I feeling like I'm receiving your energy more than just hearing your words? And putting that all together creates a more effective listener. And what was fun was I first came into this idea when I was asked to come and be a full-time substitute for 2 months for an English teacher at a local school here in town. And it was kind of random. The principal of the school is a Reiki client of mine. And she just said, "Oh, will you help me out? I know you have a writing background and a lot of experience. We need a teacher for 2 months." So I thought, okay, I guess this is where I'm being called to work. And when I was there was a woman who did a special seminar for teachers on the importance of listening. And she was from Columbia University's Teachers College. She talked about how important it is to be good listeners. But at the end of the seminar, I went up to her and I said, "Wow, I truly loved your speech, but I didn't feel like you left us with any tools. Like, I know it's important to be a good listener, but how? Like, how do we do that?" And she was like, "Oh, I don't really know what you mean. What do you mean by tools?" And then I explained, "Well, I'm a Reiki master teacher and I give people tools to kind of help them become better listeners." And she was really lit up by that and said, "We need to collaborate. Would you come to Columbia and would you teach that portion?" And now I've gone twice to teach this here method at Columbia, which has been really exciting because it's very fun to be invited into spaces like that to teach Reiki. It's really
Yeah.
showing me like the world's really opening and expanding to beliefs of opening our thoughts and kind of sharing our awareness of different ideas and how we can become better at things using all parts of ourselves.
Yeah. And when people start really implementing the here technique, what kind of transformations do you notice? What are they experiencing? Like, what's on the other side of being present?
Well, what's funny is like a lot of the people that have to come to the seminar, I just said have to come because it's part of like a day that's been planned for them with different sessions.
Mhm.
And I really got a kick out of the first one that I did because here I was talking about Reiki in this academic place. And these people had been to many different things all day long. So I could feel the energy as some of them walked in, like eye roll, like, "Oh, okay, what is this?" And when I started to talk about getting into your heart's energy, to so many people in the room, that was like a brand new concept. Like, what is she talking about? And so just doing a simple meditation to ground people and have them turn on their light and to realize that, like, you are this light energy. It was all around the room, a lot of like aha moments that were really very validating to the power of Reiki. And then what kind of happened from there just was like a nice, beautiful flow of like, wow, okay, now that you've got my attention and you've had me connect with this light inside myself, and I realize this is more about me and how I operate, I'm kind of interested in this. And it was an interesting shift. And I feel like it's nice to see in person when that happens in a workshop or a setting like that. When I made this into an online offering and people are purchasing the class, I tried to do 6 modules with lots of videos to really explain and give people exercises to do. And there's a workbook that goes with the class. And the feedback that I've been getting is like, wow, this class has really helped me become calmer, become more present with my children, my husband, my work colleagues. So that's been really nice to hear because, since it's not a workshop or I'm not face to face, I don't really know what they're feeling. And then receiving those emails really means a lot.
I love that. Well, Vicky, would you be interested in giving us some kind of demo, whether it's the H.E.A.R process or a little bit of your Reiki love, any kind of demo so people can start to kind of get a
Absolutely.
feel for your magic?
Sure, absolutely. Let's do a quick exercise to connect you with your heart's energy, because that to me is something people can use everywhere. Before I even started Reiki, I never knew what that really meant to like hold space for anybody. And holding space is like turning on your light and being present in the light of who you are. And that's a useful tool, even if someone's in the hospital and you have that crazy frenzy of family and friends saying, what can I do? I wish there was something I can do. Sometimes just being the person who sits in the room and sits there offering your light to someone is huge. So, this is a simple exercise, whether it's for clearing your mind to listen or just to be more present. Connecting with your heart light is important. So just get comfortable if you're watching this. And I want you to just kind of close your eyes and have your feet flat on the ground. So if you're sitting on your leg or cross-legged, just make sure your feet are both flat on the ground. And I want you to just be really present with what you feel at this moment. Maybe you're feeling a lot of noise in your head. Maybe you feel your heart beating fast. Whatever you're feeling, just be okay with that awareness. And now I want you to deliberately take a really deep breath and bring the breath into your belly. Just breathe in through your nose, fill your belly, and exhale. And we're going to do that 3 times just to calm and center ourselves. Once more, in through your nose, fill your belly, and exhale. And a 3rd time, in through your nose, fill your belly, and exhale. Great. And now, if your eyes are not closed yet, please close them now. And I want you to imagine there are 3 things that we use in Reiki, and those 3 things are our breath, our imagination, and visualization. Everyone has the power to imagine things and visualize things, and the visuals help you have the experience. So, as you're sitting here with your feet flat on the ground, I want you to start to pretend that your feet are in the earth. So, even if you have a carpeted floor or you have heels on, it doesn't even matter. I just want you to be pretending that you are barefoot with your feet in the earth. Maybe you feel grass, or you actually feel a feeling of warm earth under your feet or sand. And just pretend you're making little indentations in the earth with your toes, really feeling connected to the ground below you. And once you feel that, I want you to take a deep breath as we just did, but this time I want you to imagine that as you breathe into your belly, there are roots growing out of your feet deep into the earth. You take another breath and those roots go deeper. Breathing in and exhaling out. And now on the 3rd time that you breathe in, those roots are so deep that they've connected with a beautiful source of healing light in the center of the earth. And now as you inhale, I want you to imagine that you can pull that light through the roots, through your legs, and into your belly. Fill your belly with that light and place your hands across your abdomen as you do this. Pull in the light, fill your belly, and when you exhale, only the breath releases, the light remains. So take a few more breaths, bringing in more light and filling that belly with light. And now I want you to imagine, for everyone, it's different. Some people need 30 seconds to do this. Some people might need 5 minutes. But in the interest of time, I want you to just pretend that at this point, your belly is filled with this beautiful light. It's filled with light. You are fully charged with this beautiful source of healing light from the earth. And now with your next breath, you can pull this light up from your belly and into your heart. So breathe it up. And as you exhale, imagine you're sending this light through your chest and into the room around you. Breathe it up into your heart and exhale. And the idea here is to clear and release any guarded energy in your heart. Everyone can feel like things in life have created a guarded shield, almost like a little bulletproof vest we wear around our heart's energy. And we want to break that open. We want to allow this light energy to move up into our heart and through our heart, because we want this frequency of this beautiful light energy to be the frequency that we are transmitting. So breathe it into your heart. And as you exhale, imagine it coming through you. And continue this pattern as I'm talking, breathing up the light into your heart and exhaling it out. And I want you to slowly to imagine that this light that you're bringing up has turned on a light inside of your heart. And this light is so bright. This light is moving up through you. It's moving out of you. And I want you to start to imagine that you have a glow in 6 directions. There's literally light in front of you and in back of you, to the left and right of you, and above you and below you. As you're breathing up this light and you're exhaling this light, you are creating this cocoon of unconditional love, this beautiful light all around you. Your heart energy is wide open. You have more compassion. You feel more grounded. You are this light. And all of the thoughts and worries in your mind are silenced at this time, because all you're focusing on is the light that you are in this moment. And as you're sitting here in this open, beautiful heart energy, I want you to imagine all of us doing this together at this moment. Imagine how powerful that is, to think that we're all in this high vibration. We're all feeling this frequency. Energy healing can be felt through time and distance. We can make a difference by raising our vibration, by connecting with this light, by being in this space of our heart's energy. And now that you are there, I want you to let the visual of the roots below your feet dissolve into the earth below you. I want you to start to move your feet a little bit and bring yourself back into your body. Maybe roll your shoulders a little and feel yourself present. But I want you, before you open your eyes, to remember that you are this light. This light is the essence of who you are. This light is the Reiki that moves through you. And the body is the vehicle that holds this light. And it's a nice way of shifting our minds and realizing that we are the light before we are anything, that we are all held in this light and here together in this space. And with that understanding, just slowly open your eyes and bring yourself back to the space. And how did that feel?
That felt delicious. You've
Great,
got such a great narration of that too. It was like really clear and just easy to visualize. Very, very
great.
easy to visualize.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, I hope everybody watching along got a chance to share in that little demo that I'm like, oh, the words are gone now.
That's funny.
Oh, fabulous. So Vicky, do you have any kind of last words of wisdom that you would like to share with us today?
Sure. I think that being the theme of your whole summit is so beautifully about all kind of being together in this space of oneness and making a difference by being in our light. I feel like Reiki is a huge tool for that kind of way of thinking because it's very simple. When I have some people who are like, oh, I don't know if Reiki's for me, that's very woo woo. Reiki, literally, by definition, just simply means light energy. It's two Japanese words, rei meaning light, ki meaning energy. And with that demo, we've just shown that we are connected, we are this light. And when we're able to kind of realize that by clearing and releasing all those stuck worries and fears and low vibrations, we're able to be in this energy of our higher selves. And sometimes we get so stuck in the worry and the chaos of everything that's going on around us that we get out of this space of high frequency. So when you take a moment, even simply like we just did together, and you put yourself back in this vibration, you're more effective and more able to help other people. So it's really not always about what you're doing in terms of checking the boxes and doing a million things. Sometimes it's about being. It's about being in this light and in this high vibration. And by being in the energy of your higher self, you are helping in a very big way.
Mm, that's beautiful. It's a
Thank-
it's a nice reflection that we can just exist. We can just
Yeah,
exist. And if we feel good and if we're feeling joyful, like we're contributing.
exactly. Yeah. And the more people that are in that vibration, the more we're helping each other.
Beautiful. And Vicky, can you tell us a little bit about your free gift that you're offering everybody today?
Sure. I included a little ebook that I wrote that's called What the Heck's a Chakra? Because I noticed when I was studying Reiki 1 and Reiki 2, I was already starting to feel this kind of flow of the way that the light moves through these different chakras. And I was surprised that it wasn't until Reiki 3 that we really learn about each chakra. And I really think that everyone could learn so much by knowing a few simple things about each chakra and how they work. So I created this ebook to just kind of help you right now to understand these different energies and how they work and the different things and feelings that they relate to. And I think it's a nice way of really getting connected to that noise in your mind when you're feeling a certain thing. You can sometimes take a moment and say, wait, where am I feeling this? Where am I feeling this block? Oh, I'm feeling it in my belly. Well, what chakra is that? Like it kind of helps you to understand how that energy moves through you. So I hope you'll enjoy my ebook.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much, Vicky, for being here today and sharing your wisdom and your story and a little guidance with this acronym, with this the HEAR process. I think that's
Sure.
I think that has a lot of power behind it. You know, these
Thank you.
simple things have a lot of power behind it.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
Fabulous. And the link in the description to find Vicky and the free gift are below. So have a great day, everyone, and be
Great.
well.
Take care.